I'm just an amateur. I'm just a private researcher, didn't graduate from an elite college, nor do I belong to any academic clique. Of course I don't have any connections with experts or research centers. That's why this is all I can do. Is the Hinamizawa syndrome real, or is it just my delusion, just like you all say? To find out, I need your help. That's not exactly the best way of pitching something. Of course, if this was the discovery of the century, it would create a major sensation. After all, it says parasites control human culture as well as human thoughts. The frontal lobe of the brain is simply a place for parasites to live. If a link between the existence of the Hinamizawa syndrome and the infected people's belief in Oyashiro-sama could be established, then it would be possible to explain all the religions, no, all the cultures on the boundaries on Earth. That's such a magnificent and unique idea. Dr. Takano, you should publish your idea so the general public can read about it instead of having us read it quietly. Grandfather's looking down and his fists are trembling a little. This is too cruel. That's just fun. The academic world. I don't know anything academically, I'm just a little girl. I don't know exactly what they're talking about. Grandfather worked so hard by himself until today. To further his research, he needs sponsors. Yet they're saying his research is simply a delusion. That is such an absurdity. Just like the question of which came first, the chicken or the egg. Besides, if his research had reached the level those cheeky men want, he wouldn't need their help. Yeah. But they're saying that they can't help unless they see some results that are beyond the level of private research. That's what sucks. It does. That's how it works. In any field, doesn't a research start out with just a little idea? If you can prove its existence before you research it, then what's the point of researching it? If a wild idea can't be the subject of research, how did knowledge make such progress? Well, because the idea has a little more substance than I believe there are parasites, but yet I don't really have any proof that there are parasites in someone's brain. I mean, if you look at some ideas, they had some general good ideas to them. Especially like in older times, where it was actually a lot harder, where you didn't get just funding. Because back then, people didn't fund people. I'm talking like way in the past. Or at least they didn't want to fund people. But never mind that. When Mr. Koizumi came 2 weeks ago, didn't he say they were showing strong interest in the research? Yeah, they were probably hoping for a little bit more. What's going on here? This is the complete opposite of what he said. Yes. I think this is very interesting research. The human brain still holds many secrets. Dr. Takano's article is extremely unique. Especially from the eugenic point of view. I don't think we should ignore this. Humans are not God's children. Humans are simply baptized animals. According to Darwin, each environment has an effect on the progress of evolution. In other words, humans can be either superior or inferior. As a nation, we must think how we can keep good bloodlines and how we can leave good genes behind. We have to research that as a national policy, otherwise humans will receive a fatal ranking order in the coming century. Dr. Takano's research has the potential of reaching beyond parasitic diseases. If it's possible to prove that crime is due to a disease, not genes, then criminals can be treated by surgical means. As a result, we can leave wonderful people for our future. From the eugenic point of view, Dr. Takano's research should get started immediately. It's possible this could be the greatest discovery since the invention of lobotomy surgery. If the causality between the infectious disease and one's nature could be established, this would be more than a Nobel Prize. Koizumi, thank you for giving me this chance. Takano is such a single-minded and passionate guy, but he is not going to deal with the people. He's been working on his research all by himself, but now he has hit the limit and he needs help. Please everyone, listen to what Takano has to say. Oh, please don't, Sensei. We are the ones who should be thanking you for this opportunity. We are already willing to help him. Actually, coordinating the territories of the society is a more urgent manner. I'd like to thank you for giving me an opportunity to be involved in such a unique research project at this age. There's a knock on the door. The sliding door opens and the owner peeks in. Excuse me. There's someone asking for you. May I bring him? Someone? Who could it be? The owner whispers into his ear, and his face turns pale suddenly. Please. No, I'll come with you. As Koizumi stands up, the footsteps reach the door. Sensei, I didn't expect you to be here. Koizumi, long time no see. I have something I need to tell you today. Yes, if you need to tell me something, I'm all ears. Please. Koizumi isn't someone of a low status. Although he's already retired, he is still powerful enough to be influential. From his meek attitude, it's easy to figure out what kind of person this man is. The old man walks as he holds onto his bodyguard's shoulder. He has an expensive-looking cane in his other hand. He can't even walk on his own because of his old age, but his dignity and intensity are still very strong. I'll be direct. Your friend's research. You need to stop that. Huh? What do you mean? Koizumi, you must take his knowledge of the Hinamizawa syndrome to his grave. Nobody should touch it. If anyone looks into it, if you poke a bush, a snake will come out. It will be a huge snake too. I can't just watch you get bitten by it. That's why I'm here to tell you something. Can your friends wait for a little? So how about it? Do you want to have some drinks with me in a different room? Yes, I'll come with you. Koizumi realizes that this is pressure. He doesn't know which direction it's coming from, but some elders don't feel good about the research of the Hinamizawa syndrome, and are trying to stop him from backing up this research. Interesting. Koizumi, do you remember the Roko Bridge incident? It's just nonsense. We came here today expecting to hear a more objective side. Normally we wouldn't come all the way here for something like this, but since Koizumi asked us, we didn't have a choice. Yeah, there you go. They were expecting something a little more concrete than just ideas. Quantifiable data with multiple case studies. This is really a waste of time, but in a way it was a good thing we came. We were able to give you some advice. You know, if you are going to spend the rest of your life on some worthless research like this, why don't you take up bonsai? Bonsai is great. I agree. It's not healthy to just stare at formalin jars in this study. But it sure is a unique subject. If you want, I'll introduce you to the chief of a publishing company. The general public loves things like this, you know? That is true. You could fucking back your way in by having a story about it, acting like it's fake, but really you take the money you get from said book sales, translate it into research money. So you could back it in that way. That's actually not a bad idea. Like that, because it would probably sell really well, actually. Call it like, I don't know, fucking sensational title of a book, sell it, you could make a decent living off of it, and then take that money, start researching it. Then you have capital and you don't need sponsors. They laugh at grandfather, denounce him, and keep saying things to deny not only his research but his personality as well. If they are simply provoking him, any response would just prove them right. Grandfather tries to be a superior researcher as well as a proud existence. He's no longer trembling. On the contrary, he apologizes to them for taking up their time, and he tells them he has no intention of keeping them any longer. Aw, see, that's no fun. I know why he's doing it, but I wouldn't do that. I'm not gonna let someone just fucking insult me or my name in front of me and me just sit there and take it. I'll be pretty pissed off. We'll give this article back to you. It'd be so much easier if we could actually call this an article. One of the elderly gentlemen tosses the article back. Grandfather can't catch it. Oh my. Come on, dude. The article he worked so hard on falls onto the floor, and the papers scatter all over the carpet. The elderly gentleman leaves the study without even apologizing for it. Everyone else follows him. As they leave, they step on Grandfather's article. Beautiful. Grandfather's expression doesn't change. But I see things warp. I see the wall behind Grandfather warp. I jump. I grab onto the elderly gentleman's leg. Oh, god damn it. I don't hate him. If I were asked him if I hated him or not, the answer would be yes. But that's not the point here. I can't stand this foot that steps on my grandfather's article. Don't step on it! Don't step on it! Grandpa worked so hard on it, don't step on it! I just want to move the foot that is standing on the papers. Holding on to him is not going to make him move any faster. But the foot doesn't move no matter how hard I push or pull, as if it's rooted to the floor. Then I feel someone grabbing me from behind. It's Grandfather. Please excuse my granddaughter. Don't worry about this. We'll clean this up. Don't step on them. I'm telling you not to step on my grandpa's article. My scream doesn't mean a thing. They completely ignore my scream. They continue to step on the papers, and leave the study. As much as a waste of time it probably was, I probably still wouldn't step on it. I would try to consciously avoid it, because I'm not a dick. Completely. Because there's no point. Only Grandfather and I are left. I'd probably, if I was the last one to leave, I'd apologize for him, and say, I'm sorry that they were rude to you, but understand, but this still doesn't change my opinion that this is a useless project. And that's probably what I'd end up saying. They could have handled it better, but I still view this as a pointless research. But I still give my apologies. My grandfather's still grabbing the back of my collar. I don't have any words coming from my mouth, I'm just crying. But my grandfather is determined not to show his emotions. He doesn't even move his mouth. So I believe I have to cry for him. My grandfather slaps my face. Shut up. I'm startled. I'm crying for him, so why does he slap me? Then I understand. Grandfather is the one who wants to cry. But he's enduring. So I shouldn't cry either. Well, it's more like it doesn't nearly affect you as much as it affects him. I mean, seriously. I'm not gonna cry for someone else who isn't crying. That makes no sense. I wipe my eyes and my runny nose. Then I look at the papers on the carpet silently, just like Grandfather. I'm sorry. Sorry, Mio. I don't understand why he's apologizing. Oh, because he slapped the shit out of you? Man, that's probably a good way to apologize. I thought he was going to complain about their rudeness. If I worked harder, this wouldn't have happened. Until today, you helped me so much for nothing. Sorry about that. How courageous he is. Even after that disaster, he is concerned about me. I shake my head and put my hands on the floor. I try to gather the papers, then they begin to fall. My tears start to overflow again and blur the ink on the paper. Yeah, you fucking bitch. I have to retype everything. Well, rewrite everything. They are all handwritten by Grandfather. He was so happy that finally there was someone who understood his research. He was so happy. He spent all night writing these. But they stepped on them. They might as well have stepped on Grandfather's spirit. I didn't work hard enough. If I had done more, this wouldn't have happened. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I'll work even harder. I won't give up. because it's something like this. That's the right attitude. Even when people say no, you keep going. I don't know if he said that to me or to himself. To himself, he could give two shits about you. In this case, I think him caring about himself is a little more important. Don't worry. God is watching. I hate to believe that I'll be recognized. That day will come someday. That's why I have to keep working. Grandfather says that all the time. But I know. God only plays with people's fate. He doesn't save out of goodwill. That's why he let this happen to Grandfather, though he has worked so hard and so humbly until today. I don't know. I don't think Takano could take that response because, she was daring God to kill her and all that, and she didn't die and ended up apparently money materialized on the ground. So, I don't think she can say that he doesn't save out of goodwill. That seemed pretty goodwill to me. He could have just said, "Yeah, fuck off. I don't give two shits about this little bitch." That's why he let such a horrible thing happen to me when I was still an innocent little girl. Yeah, but he, theoretically, if you want to take that stand, you still got out of there because you found a payphone and you were able to make a phone call. Grandfather keeps repeating. But I know. God exists. The existence Grandfather believes in exists, but there's no mercy. He delivers an unreasonable fate and makes us call it a challenge. I can't tell Grandfather that, of course. I ask God once more, like I did on the day of the thunderstorm. Why? Why can't you give Grandfather a fair evaluation for all of his hard work? Grandfather tells me that he'll gather the papers, so I should put away the teacups. Don't drop any. I nod silently and put the teacups that hadn't even been touched onto the serving cart. As I push it out of the study, Grandfather tells me. He tells me to close the door after I leave. I always close the door when I leave. He doesn't need to remind me, but that's what he wants, so without saying anything, I close the door. Then as I walk away from the study, I hear Grandfather sobbing. Poor old man. Tears fill my eyes again. Sadness and disappointment. I almost feel angry with myself for not being able to do anything for him. That's understandable. Nothing like your life research going down the shitter. In less than an hour. Or however long they talked. Then I feel a cool breeze on my wet cheeks. That's the breeze coming from the cracked open window. The curtain is flapping gently. I hear the cry of the Higurashi. As I listen to them, I calm down gradually. If I can ease Grandfather's pain by crying, I'll cry in his place. But that won't help. On the contrary, he started to cry because I cried. I'm being useless here. I remember that day. I remember the reason why I'm alive now. If he hadn't come and saved me, I would have spent the last day of my life as a piece of meat in the shape of human, lying in the corner of the bathroom. Grandfather saved me. He gave me back my rights, the right to walk, the right to stand up, the right to wear clothes, the right to eat, the right to speak, and the right to think. In other words, the right to live as a human being. Grandfather took action right after the phone call from me. He found my house, and he found out which orphanage I was sent to. After going through sloppy paperwork of the government office, he saved me. Of course he was working on his research then. He spent his precious research time to save me, a stranger. Yeah, I don't really think it would have taken that long. I don't think it detracted from his research that much. I vowed that if his heart failed, I'd rip my heart out and give it to him. But of course his heart is fine. So he doesn't need a heart, he needs something else that's equally important. That's something only I can give him in this whole world. I clench my fists and hold them so tightly that my nails leave marks. I now know what I'm supposed to do with this new life as Takano Mio. I finally know. I know the reason why the new me was born. I know the purpose of Takano Mio. To fulfill a wish and weave a desired future. The strength of a string is how strong your will is. A noble and strong wish will come true. Interesting. I thought I knew my grandfather's greatness, but I actually didn't know at all. For me to be able to really help him, I have to reach his level. All the subjects led to grandfather. There's nothing I can ignore. To study hard is what I can do for grandfather right now. I've been a teacher for a long time, but I've never seen such a hard-working student. You have learned not only academically, but socially as well. You made lots of friends. I have a goal in which I can only achieve by studying hard. Also, I know how powerless and isolated genius is. That's why I need to learn to socialize. That's not enough. I'm not even close to where I want to be. Entering college is only a step forward. What matters is what I learned there. I'm not even close. I'm not even close to being able to help my grandfather. I'm so proud of you. You can go to Tokyo University or Ochanomizu University. Sure. Or any college of your choice. Nothing will stop you. The most important thing for you is that the school will teach you what you want to learn. That is a big decision that inhabits a tiny soul. If my life is heavier than the earth, then my decision is heavier than the earth. Fuck, getting really deep in these fucking quotes. Fuck. I will say that's the one best thing about college is that you actually do get to choose what you take class-wise, for the most part. Other than, like, you know, general education requirements and all that stuff. But you do get to actually choose what you want to learn. And that's always interesting. Do I have what I need to be able to really understand the Hinamizawa syndrome and help grandfather in his research? I don't need a compromise or an excuse. My goal is high and challenging. This isn't enough, not even close. My classmates look so stupid, acting as if they're winners in life just because they entered this school. A college is simply a place to learn what I need to know. If this self-proclaimed best school isn't worth my time, I'm not interested. I didn't expect a talented woman like you to come to this parasite research center. I'm sure everyone wanted you, huh? I assumed you were interested in something bigger. I want to study and research parasites. I've worked hard to earn the qualifications to study here. Aren't I qualified to learn here? No, it's probably because not many people want to learn about parasites. It's kind of weird. Yes. There's no reason why we would refuse someone who got the top score on the entrance exam. Welcome to the Parasite Research Center. People usually don't like our field. There aren't too many researchers. Exactly. See? That's why there's still more unknown areas than in other fields. That's right. The world of parasites is an unknown world. Or rather, it's an ignorant world. An ignorant world where the preconception that parasites can't possibly control humans pervades. I wouldn't say it necessarily ignorant again. I would say it's more like hopefully thinking that something like that doesn't happen. Or doesn't exist. And those ignorant people laughed at grandfather and stepped on his article. There's still many unsolved mysteries in the world of parasites. I'm here to solve them. I came here to help the people who want to solve them. A wish that guaranteed to come true is not called a wish. That is fate, not a wish. I weave fate. Fate is an absolute power to control people in the world, not just an individual. Learning isn't enough for me. I have to be able to research with my grandfather. I don't ignore the means to gain the help grandfather couldn't get. Grandfather's research doesn't end when it gets completed on a desk. I need the help of lots of people to present it, so his great work will be praised. That's right. This is an association only the top graduates of the Imperial University are allowed to join. Therefore, only 7 people per year are allowed to join, so it is a small group compared to a normal organization of alumni. However, its solidarity is unrivaled. Thank you for inviting me to such a gathering. I'm honored. I would like to take the lowest seat. Well, I mean, oh my, we can't let someone with such an accomplishments and experience sit in the lowest seat. I'm sure everyone will welcome you. The cabinet minister and several important government officials, company presidents, and company advisors will be here. Damn, that's nice. They'll all need you, and they will provide the help you need. Koizumi belongs to this association, right? He was my grandfather's best friend. What a coincidence. I see. I'm sure Koizumi will be glad to find out you are joining. An isolated genius is useless. People live in a society. That's true. A society is made up of connections between people. Nobody can ignore that. Yeah. Which is what's bad when people act like they are the only thing that's important in society. And then they, halt the progress of humanity because their problems are more important than the greater good of humanity and society as a whole. Let's slow down everything, stop all research, everything else, and say, fuck that. My issues are more important than everyone else's in the world. I do my best as an individual. And to gain the power that can't be achieved as an individual, I can't deny the connections with the society. It's all for my purpose. My only wish is Takanomiya. That's right. I shouldn't spare any effort. My absolute will create an absolute future. Nobody can interfere. Nobody can stop me. I won't allow the die to roll a 1. I won't admit that diligent efforts can be erased by a mere train accident. I'm going to make a die that rolls 6. I won't entrust my die with God. I won't give in to luck. Only people who don't want to work hard pray to God. I don't trust God. I'm going to create results. My strong will is going to create an absolute future that God can't prevent. That's interesting. This is really interesting to see how she approaches it. And how they talked about, that, like a will has to overcome fate and all that. A strong will overcomes fate. It just shows how strong her will is. And why it's so hard to change it. This is a different way to become a god than the one grandfather taught me. This is a way to become a god while still alive. When I realized it, I become free. Free from the sadness of losing my parents and the miserable life after that. Free from grandfather's tears with his article was stepped on. That's right, I'll be above God. I'll be an existence that God's caprices can't touch. Good lord. So many S's. I'll make people acknowledge grandfather's research. That's the future I wish for. The future I promised would come to pass. People will fight over grandfather's article. People will respectfully read the same article that was once ridiculed and stepped on. Even if grandfather dies before that day comes, I won't cry for something like that. Because grandfather already taught me. Even after being buried, one can be revived. I'm going to complete his great work, and the whole world will praise him. That's when grandfather will revive and become a god. He will be eternal. That's an eternal bond. A bond not even a train accident can break. A bond not even a die that rolls a 1 can bother. Since the day of the train accident, my die has kept rolling a 1. Well, I mean, except for when Takano saved your ass. I mean, you can't deny that. That's not really a 1. But I didn't give up. I kept working hard until today. I'll rise above the die. I'll decide what to roll on the die. I'll decide my own fate. I'll do that with my unshakable willpower. Fuck.